Hello everyone, Thranxes here, and welcome back to Factorio Mega Factory Episode 5, where today we're going to be launching rockets and squaring away some logistics. Alright, so before we start actually launching the rockets, though, we need to take care of a few things. In the last episode, we used the logistics to help ensure that our supply side chests would be full at all times, right? And while that's good, I've realized the conundrum that's put us in. And I kind of realized it last episode, but wanted to follow through because we're going to fix it this episode. That's sort of what this series is. Now, as you can see, even though robots are taking items from the red circuits, we're still getting the blue light. But how can this be? The same with the plastic. The plastic is a blue light, but it's also being emptied. Well, that's because these networks have all been merged together, and so all of our logistics based on numbers have fallen apart. That being said, what we need to do is actually disconnect this network from the other network. So we're going to get rid of these, and everywhere there's a robo port that's connecting these two networks, it has to go. Get rid of that one. These two. All right, that should isolate that network to become its own thing. And now the plastic won't borrow from the supply side over here, which these need to be simply for robot factories and nothing else. That one can go away. Sure. Now this is going to pose a problem, as we've engineered some of these sites to be where the nuclear fuel is loaded onto certain trains. Not all the trains require fuel because many of them will be refueled over here at the main storage area. However, especially at the foundries with the raw iron and copper and trains like this that never quite get over there, this can be a big deal. So we're going to have to square that away as well. So we can see this is indeed its own network, and if I switch over here to logistics, right, there we go. Repair packs, iron ore, plastic. So now the plastic side of things should be going non-stop. And hopefully we'll catch up, because once it needs to backfill, it's going to try to load from here. Maybe not. Maybe not. Let's put some extra roboports down, just in case these robots need more points to refuel. Yep, there they go, and they're active. Boom, perfect. And that's how this system is supposed to work. Ensuring a nice even distribution, and that no items are just backfilled in the buffer chests. That's their purpose, is to buffer. Okay, so we'll just let them do their thing. The next section, we're going to disconnect the foundries, actually, as well, from the logistics network. Okay, and in that way, they're not confused about how much steel or iron or copper is actually sitting in reserve. Now what we need to do is we're going to have to set up an area to bring the nuclear fuel to these sub-areas. Now, if this network is connected to that network, then we can load fuel in one area and they can transport it all over. That would be quite a trek for robots, but the fuel is used so slow, it shouldn't be a problem. Where are we taking damage? Wow, this side is getting hit really hard. Okay, so it looks like if we just put one of our little pit stops, our robotic pit stops, right over here. We don't want to connect it over, we want to connect it up. So we can put one like this maybe, and then we can also put one like this. And that should be able to build these myself, and that should take care of that. And they're connected. Perfect. Oh, we're missing one for construction. That's okay. We'll come over here, we'll get it restocked. This does mean you can't request stuff from anywhere. But this is how we want to have it set up. Ultimately, it is. So I'm sort of getting over a cold. So if I have to edit or cut out coughing or such, I apologize in advance. I've got a bit of a sore throat. Trying to keep the videos out. Wow, 24 turrets engaged with the enemy. That's quite a big push. The bugs are starting to mass up, especially where the pollution is hitting them hard, like here at Battle Delta. Flank Beta's been taken care of. Skirmish Omega's building up. Front Iota is a big problem. Yeah, okay, so we definitely have some issues with the indigenous bug wildlife. But now our logistics network is squared away. So now we just need a place to load up our nuclear fuel by train and ferry it over to an area here on this separate logistics network that is the supply side of the materials and none of the robotic production. Should be a piece of cake. This oil one here actually isn't used that much. Oil for acid. We're going to borrow that. So let's get ourselves another little stop here just in case. Yep, so we'll do that. And then, here, let's see, passive provider. We're just going to put it right here, right? And then a stack inserter. I don't think anything but oil comes here, so this shouldn't affect oil, so we won't even have to tell it to filter out specifically what it is. And that's really all we need. That will keep this whole network, even all the way up to the foundries. It'll be a long flight for the robots, but that'll make sure that all of these train systems will have access to nuclear fuel once a train is making the trip. And wouldn't you know it, we don't have a single train anywhere. So I just need one locomotive and one cargo wagon, please, and thank you. We can put some of these robots back on the network here. I don't think we're going to need them. We can always put more on the separate network if we need to, but I believe there's probably going to be quite a bit over there. Yeah, so there's only 18,000 logistics robots left on the network here, and it was 25,000, which means we isolated 7,000 logistics robots on the production side. And that's perfectly acceptable. I think that's probably overkill, all being told, but it's not a problem. I'd rather have too many than not enough. Put this here. Now, a place to load up our nuclear fuel. We're making nuclear fuel over here on the side. Kind of walked right past it. We're making it over here. And we have tons of it. It's being made very fast. And we have lots and lots of uranium. No problems there. But where will we stock it up? I could punch a railroad offshoot off of here. We sort of already have this little stopping area built in over here. We could just add a short one. I think that's going to be the way to do it, actually. So let's go ahead and we'll just cut this down. And then we'll... that's going to be tough to join, though, isn't it? We could have it pull in and then go back the other way. No, we can't. That's a one-way track. It's not an option. Okay, well, obviously the simplest answer is going to be to just pull the track right down over here. Give ourselves another little bit like that. Perfect, only this time what we're going to do is see, because we could still get a train that pulls through here that wants to wait here, but then it gets all messed up. And we need this path to sort of be reserved. And this should be a thing, so that signal will kick off immediately and not wait. Why are you doing that? Oh, that was bad. That was so bad. No, it has to go past. It has to wait for the train to go all the way past, otherwise it won't know. So then what we'll do is we'll just cycle you back to where you're going. And we'll let the next plastic train come in. This isn't going to work because it doesn't have a specific stop in place. We might be able to add one. Seems like it's going to need its own area. It is. It really is. So we don't want it to interfere with any of these resting trains, or vice versa. We don't want any of the resting trains to interfere with it. So perhaps we just use this section over here. Yes, this is sort of our little emergency section here. This one's actually going to be quite simple too. There we go. I have it on my hotbar for a reason. Thranxes. Okay, there we go. Now we'll put in our train stop right here. We're going to call this nuclear fuel for the masses. And of course we're going to make it green. Why not? Okay. Now let's get our train up. And our little cargo wagon. From here we're going to need a requester chest. Yes, thank you. And that's going to be one for the fuel. But then also, we're going to do 2 here for the cargo. These are going to need to be full, just so the train can load quickly when it needs to. We don't need a huge buffer for the fuel, but the chest can hold 48. We might as well request 50. Fine. 48. Why would we request more than the chest can hold? That's silly. I think a substation would be better here. Of course. And that'll do it. Okay, the train is loaded up and fueled and requesting more. Of course it is. Now, your job is going to be to go from nuclear fuel for the masses until inventory full, and then you're going to go to... Huh. Did I already name a stop? Nuclear fuel? Interesting. Oh, that's a hot mess. I did. Interesting. Because we were just going to use this stop. But this one routinely... Oh, uses nuclear fuel for the reactors. Well... I mean, that's fair enough, I suppose. So we'll go to, it was oil for acid, right? Until inventory empty. Oh, and you are automatic. Woo, there it goes. Wow, those single cargo trains really haul with that organic fuel. What is going on? What are you doing carrying all this copper ore up there? Oh, because there's storage up there. There's legacy storage. Ah, that's fine. I can actually live with that. The real question is, how long is it going to take the... I should have just topped in the train. Watch, I'm going to get over there right as it's leaving. I'll be like, no! Yep, there it goes. Woo! So it did not take long at all. And now, this logistics network has fuel for everybody. And the plastic is still just in crazy demand. And that's for red plastic. So are the red circuits still... They are also filling up demand. Well, no, they have a tremendous buffer system, though. Okay, so the red circuits are catching up. Plastic is catching up. It's going to take a little bit of time for that to backfill. We're not going to really tax the research while the system is catching back up. But we are going to launch rockets, as I said at the beginning of this episode. So, in fact, I think we're ready for that. So now everything is isolated on its network. So the robots from this side won't pull from the other side. Yeah, they got 8,000 logistics robots. More than enough. Way more than enough. Then we come back over here, which you guys should be making lots and lots of fuel, actually. Oh, sure. Yeah, it's just 1 and 1. Piece of cake. And it lasts for so long, and the speed bonus. And you did it again. Why did you do that again? What the heck is going on? What is your issue? You're a steel, oh, you're, Why would you do that? It has to be that signal. Why don't you go ahead and... Oh! Oh! Okay, so we're back, and problem is fixed. Trains are now flowing into the rail areas where they're supposed to. Next should be the oil. Yep. And then steel is reset. Perfect. Okay, so now let's go look at our rockets. This is going to push our steel and actually a little bit of everything. It's sort of half of the difficulty of research is maintaining the science research. I mean, that's kind of a big part of it. The other supply chains really aren't that cosmic, literally. But the space science from the shuttles is very taxing. So, to date, we currently have 445 satellites that have been launched. And we're going to test roughly for about how long we can run these rockets for. I think, though, the last time I did a sample test, the issue ended up becoming satellites. So we actually ran out of satellites long before we ran out of anything else. And that might have to do... I mean, we could try to just open up this box, but that's a band-aid for the problem. Having a larger buffer for something, really, it just helps you surge, but it doesn't help you get to a continuous production line. Okay, so let's see about how long we can run these rockets before we start running into a problem. Now keep in mind, because of all the research, again, we did last episode, without launching rockets, we're in a major deficit for space science. So we need to do this just to get our space science buffers filled up. And there they go. It's a beautiful thing. So these should go relatively quickly. The space science is going to be ripped out of here very fast. There's about, I think, what did I estimate? 24,000 in total it's going to hold. I think it might even be double that. Yeah, because it's 2 chests of 3,000 per system. So really, it's 48,000 it's got to backfill. It's going to take quite a few launches. And just like that, it's ready to go again. The rocket is almost launched before the last bit of space science was pulled out of it. As you can see, though, this sector is not active yet. This sector is starting to go active a little bit. This sector, by and large, is not very active currently. A few rocket control units are going off the lines. And we have 4 major rocket assembly areas. 1, 2, 3, and 4. This one's a little large. And then this one over here, I believe, was for rocket fuel to kind of augment some of this. But we only have 4 main assembly areas. We're still going pretty strong. These really are just being able to be made just as fast as possible, which is about 5 rockets being launched every 30 seconds, or 1 rocket every 6 seconds. Quick math. There you go. But it's not sustainable. As much as I would love to tell you this is sustainable, it is not. This is a tremendous amount of resources launching these rockets this rapidly. What we're trying to do is figure out where the supply line actually breaks down. As you can see, there's currently no shortage of parts or satellites. Okay, so let's look at our satellite construction really quick. It may be falling behind. But what is holding us back here? We could request more materials to the supply chests, but so we launched 5 rockets and it didn't seem to build that many satellites. Oh no, that's backed up. Okay, so 20 is how much it holds. That's right. So I want to see how quickly it recovers from the 15. Because it's going to go from 2015, right? Let's see how fast it rebuilds. Should be pretty quick. There's 19. Okay, it's not a problem yet. You can see this rocket production area has fully kicked on. If we come over here, you can see this area is in full production. You can see the little icons on top of the factories moving. Oh, no, it's not. Okay, so this is not in full production. And this area down here is not in production at all. So we're still riding pretty good on our buffer. Now, one of the things we can look at is we can highlight here. Let's go within 10 minutes. No, 1 minute. We're going to highlight our production versus our consumption. Rocket fuel, satellites, and then control units, thank you, versus the consumption of the same pieces. Lightweight components. And satellites aren't even going to show up until they're used at the last minute. So if I go 10 minutes... you can see we're not going to be able to keep up. Now, production is going to continue to climb as more and more buffers are emptied. The system is going to try to catch up by, yeah, but you can see these spikes here when the when the rocket silos go active. We're pushing well over 1,000 of these materials per minute that have to be consumed. Yeah, it's going to break 2 again. And this is going to continue to climb. Whereas this is going to continue to stay sort of Now you can see, okay, so the lightweight components are being used the most, and the control units are being used the least during these spikes. That's because of satellite production. So the first rocket launch didn't use any resources for building a satellite, and then when it came down, it was like, whoa, wait, we're still making satellites now. Interesting. These are not going to get anywhere near 2,000 a minute. So the system will indeed collapse. How are we doing for science, space science? We've got 2.4 thousand in these chests. So we only need two more tandem launches, and we should have everything we need. Let's take a look at our resources up here. Keep in mind, this is why we put in these little lights, because we can at a glance see that nothing is really being taxed that hard. We've used a little bit under our maximum of blue, red, green circuits and steel. Nobody's lost the second light yet, so we're still doing okay. The production, however, is what? This is rocket fuel. This is starting to be used. That means we're hurting for rocket fuel now. Let's continue to track over the last 10 minutes, and you can see the trend there continuing to climb. These are staying the same. Actually going up. We're going to see how high these peak, though, and how much we can do this. If possible, I would like to get a reasonable buffer of space science. They're just going to keep launching. Let's make sure our satellites are doing okay. 17, still doing fairly well. And then, of course, up here. Yep, doing good. Because we're not doing research at the same time, we're able to fill back up our space science fairly easily. And again, the system is yet to... Ooh, wait, nope, there it goes. Low density structure. I keep calling them lightweight components. I apologize for that. Low density structure is indeed the first to fail. So there's our watermark. If we go to production now, you can see. Yep, there it is. Crunch. Did not make the cut. Low density structures tapered off and plateaued at about 600. And there you have it. So in order to continue to push this to its limits, we need more low density structures. We don't necessarily need all the other parts of a rocket assembly area where I've done all three. We just need the low density structures. If we could take out this rail... No, we need that rail to stay there because it's going to cut this way and open up this area. Could backfill over on this side. In fact, I think that's going to be our best bet. So let's go ahead and we're going to borrow one of these low density structure production lines. Just like this. Nope. Nope. Cancel. I need it to be like this. Because we want to get the lights. We don't want to leave the lights out. Okay, there we go. And now what we'll do is we'll head over this direction, and we're just going to build this sort of next to where we have the rocket fuel. It's away from everything. But ultimately stuff is going to have to start being separated by distance. There's just no way around that because we're building outward. Hopefully, though, it'll still work with the robots. We just need to clear out all of that nonsense that's in the way. Right, so let's put you there, and we'll get out the deconstruction. And let's just say that anything else here really just needs to disappear and be replaced by this. Boop. Now, this is going to help us with our rocket production. But again, it's a band-aid. It's not going to be a big fix because we're already in deficit and it has to catch up now. Look at this. Ooh. Rockets are struggling. All right. Let's go look at the rockets. We'll just see what they're doing. What are we up to? 490. So we've launched 45 so far. And the space science is backing up inside their provider chests, which is what we wanted. Still, low-density structures continue to be the limb fact. But as more low-density structure production comes online, oh, look, you can see they're trying to push the 1,000 mark. They're still not going to meet this demand, though. What if we go down to the minute? 1,000 a minute. So we've flattened out. At this point, our consumption has equalized our production, and we're not going to get good measures. Oop, wait. Nope, low-density structure production has picked up. I think at this point we need to turn off the rocket launch, auto launch with cargo. Although it looks like they all had satellites. I thought for sure the satellites would be a limb fact because they use a lot of components of the rockets plus other things. But it appears like satellites have been flushed this whole time. Yeah, they don't have a problem. Okay, so we were able to get out about 45 rockets in not too long. Let's see, we go to 10 minutes. So yeah, so it would have been, you know, about 10 minutes. It was almost one full width of this because this is a 10-minute bracket here. Look at that, low density structures take the lead. So that's only if we launch 45 rockets, that's only 45,000 space science we can make before they bog down. That's pretty unacceptable. In fact, that's not even enough to get through the 64,000 space science that's needed for next level research. With the buffer it is, but then you're relying on the buffer and not production. Now we might have to face the reality that the production demands of launching these rockets are just going to be too extreme. But given the sheer amount of resources that we're bringing in, I'm not inclined to just lay down and take it. I think that what we can do is actually dedicate a rocket assembly area, a full-blown one, number 5, over here on top of the extra rocket fuel and lightweight components. Maybe we could run it right here where this copper is once this copper clears out. See, I also want to put in like a passenger train terminal here that you can travel to other areas with. The main problem is going to be bugs. Bugs are going to get out of control. And one of the things I really want to do with since the new update is create an artillery train defense system that will travel around and just obliterate all the bugs on the map. And since we have nearly unlimited resources, that could be something we could do that would be really neat. Do I have night vision on? I do. It kicks on just a tad too late, I feel. Oh, look at that. Blue circuits backing up. That's delicious, actually. If only the red circuits would back up. That's going to take some time, though. But they're backfilling here. That's pretty cool. And they're filling there. All right, so it is making progress, and the plastic is struggling. We could feed, see, you know, maybe merging these two together wasn't the answer. Perhaps we need to run them separately. I'm inclined to let the plastic do its job, but given how much plastic is required for rocket production, we may just be looking at 2 different loading zones for plastic. We might have to keep this 4 going this way and then 4 going down here and perhaps trying to set up another plastic drop-off? Ugh, that would be messy. It's so cramped over here, we're limited on space. Those robots are trying. They're like, oh, we're trying. The plastic's going just as fast as we get it. I know. I know. Actually... I just had a thought. Because it seems like the plastic belt is continually stopped up here. Oh, the right answer is to just build a second one. For now, though... I think we can do this. I mean, that's not really much. Ugh, that's like nothing at all. Even if we set up a big system for that. So we need another place to drop off our plastic. Or to pick up our plastic. So maybe like leave this dedicated for red circuits and then build a plastic depot that's dedicated for the rockets. I think that's the right answer. Okay, so then let's just look at what this would look like. I know we're getting close to where I want to wrap up the episode. We did our rocket launch. We saw how many we got, but this plastic thing is going to be a big deal. We can just give a stopgap there. I think that's the right answer, actually. Let's do that. So we're going to need a copy of it first. Ooh, we don't need that. And let's see. All I want is that, please. Thank you. And then you can deconstruct it back to there. Perfect. Now, let's go down with this. Uh-oh. No, no. Come on. Right, there's like no storage over here. I'm gonna have to give you guys storage though, aren't I? No, I just need to make room for myself over here. We can destroy all these blueprints. We don't need all these blueprints. Waste of space. Inventory is full. We don't need these. Whoa, look, just picking it all up just as fast as I can. Perfect. Oh, now. Let's go drop these things off back where we came from. That is the one thing I don't like with having two different logistics networks, is you can't command the main network from anywhere. But that's just going to be the way it goes. I feel like we can get most of these things out of our inventory. All right, perfect. So I think from there, I'm going to go ahead and set up the train depot to get the plastic squared away off camera between this episode and the next, so that when we come back for the next episode, we can be ready to work on our artillery train defense system and possibly research. I feel like at this point, shooting speed, shooting range, we could go for speed. 28,000 would happen very, very quickly. Worker robot speed would be nice. Mining productivity is still dirt cheap. We'll have to look at it. I would like to do some research next episode, but lots of these things need to backfill, buffers need to get completed, and I need to help the plastic out. So that being said, this is where we're going to wrap things up. This has been the Factorio Mega Factory episode 5. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you've had a good time watching, because as always, I've had a good time playing. So come back next time as we begin to work on the artillery train defense system. But until next time, take care.